Good morning and welcome back to Jody Lewis Creations. In today's video, we are going to continue to work on this challenge from Rhoda. I don't know what I'm going to call this series, so we'll see. I'm sure when I upload it, I'll figure out something. Okay, so I said in the last video we were going to talk about inks in the beginning of this video, and then what I'm going to do is do some inking and stamping on the file folder bases. They're not file folders. I know they're cardstock bases, but the premise of this is a file folder folio. So let's talk about colors. So, okay, I have speckled egg here. Speckled egg is not exactly this blue, right? Really, it's more of a like tumbled glass kind of color, I think. But it depends on what page you look at. So I'm really struggling with picking a blue. And maybe I won't use the blue at all. Because see, like this one, both of these work. So we could use both of them. It just depends on the page, right? Then I was like, okay, I need a yellow. So I got my fossilized amber out, which I absolutely love. My fossilized amber. I've got rusty hinge here. I was looking at wild honey, but I think the wild honey is just a little bit too orange. So I picked out rusty hinge. And honestly, these are two of my favorite colors. So I'm sure I would probably choose those. Anyway, all right, and then for a dark, I just got scorched timber out. I haven't really used it that much, so let's use the things. Okay, so having said that, and what's really interesting is like this is more teal, but in the pages themselves, I feel like the pages are more blue than the teal. Well, that one not so much, but speckled egg is, I think, a good in-between color. Am I talking 100 miles an hour? I might be. And by the way, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I don't think I just said that, but I am filming back to back. And if you have been following me for any amount of time, you know that when I film back to back, sometimes I forget to say things because I already said it once today. Okay, move this stuff out of the way. I have a disaster. I had cleaned up some yesterday and I'm really trying very hard in this new space to clean up as I go. I don't want big messes everywhere. I really want to respect the new space and try to keep it clean. So, but that's easier said than done. Like, especially if you know me. I am a messy creative. Like you people that have the most organized spaces, good for you. Like I'm so envious. Okay, so having said all of that, let's talk about my kind of what I'm thinking. What did I do with that bin of stamps? Oh, there it is. I moved it because Chloe was in here in the way. Okay, so I think I don't have my noisy stamps in here. I don't, so I'll have to hobble over to the other room, but that's okay. What I'm planning to do is I want to go around all the bases and I want to pick a color. Let's just test and we will do a test page or test ink because I think it's important to do that. And I've done that before. If you guys have been following me for any amount of time, I like to test on the bases so that I can see what the color is going to do, how it's going to react with the base itself. So it's always a good idea to do that. And see, that is a just nice, very light yellow on there. So what you can do is get your color on. Where's my brown one? Then you come back with your brown or whatever, black, brown, a contrasting color, and just lightly edge it. And then you can still see your, like my yellow, but then the brown is on the edge. Now that is not really very dramatic to me. Can't see it very well. And then when I put that and have, you know, a paper behind there, is that really going to give me the impact that I want? On this particular one, I'm going to say no. That's not doing what I want it to do. So, I better move this journal. I'm going to get the wrong colors on it. Okay, so next up is going to be Rusty Hinge. And I don't know if you guys have been following me for very long. I got these made. Love them because they stand up and I don't have to worry about my daubers rolling around and inking things I don't want them to ink. So I have a few of these. I think I'm going to actually ask him to make me a couple more. Something you're interested in, please let me know. I have a woodworking guy who makes these, and so I I've sold a couple of them already, and when I do that, he and I split the cost, or split the money is what we do, because he makes them, so we share. But anyway, oh no, I like that. I really like, of course I do, because it's super grungy looking. So even with this paper that doesn't have that, that is a really nice contrast. Where's that one? Gives it a nice pop of color. Can you guys see that? Probably not. But now let's go to one that has some color on it. And I'm like, oh, is that the right color? So see what I mean? Like, you just gotta have to figure it out. But because it's the base of everything, I need the color to be cohesive. I really need it to work with all of the papers, regardless of what paper I decide to use for any specific piece. I really need it to work with all of the pages, because I don't think, how about let's speak English today? I do not think that the fossilized amber or the rusty hinge is going to work with papers like, oh no, that's pretty. That's really pretty. That works on that one. Let's pick another one just to test. This brown one, that's gonna add a nice pop of color. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys cannot see this with the lighting. There's nothing I can do about it right now. And see, now there's a green one, but I think the speckled egg is pulling the lighter color. So I think it's speckled egg for the win on the edges. So what is going to happen is I'm going to ink all of my pieces with speckled egg and scorched timber. I should probably set a stopwatch to see how long that actually takes me. It's going to take me a while. So I'm going to turn a show on and ink all around these edges, and then we'll come back.
For the record, it took me about 17 minutes just to do the blue. Now on to the brown.
So overall, that took me about a half an hour. And I had to take my heat tool to it because the speckled egg's pretty wet, and the oxides do take longer to dry than just regular ink. So I keep getting blue hands. I'm all dark, scorched timber palm, whatever. I did take a baby wipe to my hands, but whatever. Okay, so I'm tempted to go ahead and just start gluing things down, and I think that that is what I'm going to do. That's the inside. Get it right. And the reason that I want to go ahead and do that is so then as no. Nope. I do this a lot. So, just kidding. Not gluing yet. The process that's going to come now is choosing my papers. And the reason that we're not gluing yet, on the flaps and stuff I can. The only one I cannot glue yet is going to be this pocket piece. And the reason is because on this part where that tucks down in there, I need to be able to tuck that into that pocket. But that's the only pocket that I have right now with these base pieces. So this one I'm going to pick a design for, a piece for, whatever, and then go from there. Well, also what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and decide on what I want for all the pieces, and then I can kind of have it worked out and have a flow. I don't want to just randomly say, oh, I think I'll pick this damask piece for that pocket, and then maybe it doesn't go with what I want to put here, even though, I mean, the paper pad all goes together, so it should. So I'm just thinking my way through this, really just, you know, being so random. Oh, that is really pretty. You know what? I think we'll do that on that pocket. That's gorgeous. Actually, if I did that on that flap, that would be a pretty neutral piece. So if I wanted to add another pocket to that, I could. So if I do the stripes there and I do this here, I think that would be really pretty. So let's figure out. So you got to think, I have to think my way through these things. So it's kind of random and it's probably rambling to you, but it's all the thought process. And I do like, I'm just not that creator that says, oh, I'm just all organized and put together and blah, blah, blah. So I think if I go about 2.5 inches on that, that's going to work. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip off of this, but I want to, yeah, I don't want to cut into that birdhouse at all. So I'm going to cut the 2.5 inches off of this. So it's kind of like putting my paper upside down. And this has this big strip along the top. And I'm not going to throw that away because we could stamp and make some labels on that because that's really pretty. And it's part of this paper pad. So just double check that you're not cutting the design side off. You know, you don't want to mess up your design. Cut my 2.5 inches here, and then my height, we know we're going to go 6 inches, right? Because we want that 1/4 inch allowance for the sides. And then I need to punch. I keep putting this away and I'm not done with it. So I want to punch, and then I want to punch, and then I'm going to have to ink it, which I won't ink on screen because you guys pretty much know how to ink, right? So then what will happen is then now that, oh, I cut that the wrong size. What did I do? 6 inches. That's 6. Oh, that's a 1/4 inch. Oh, I only meant to have an 1/8 of an inch reveal on this. That's way too much. So I have 2 options. I can cut these down, re-ink everything. Not gonna happen. So we are going to go. So the same is gonna be the width as well. So that changes from, it's not gonna be 6. These are gonna have to be 6 1/4 tall and 4 1/4 wide because I misjudged. I wasn't thinking about 1/8 of an inch reveal. I cut all of these for a 1/4 of an inch reveal. So this is fine. These will be pieces I can use somehow. I'm not gonna fuss with having cut that, but what I do wanna make sure is when I cut this at 2.5 inches, again, I'm not getting into that birdhouse, which I'm not even getting into the flourish. So this page is still okay to use. Okay, so now we need 6 1/4 inches, which means I have to open 6 1/4. Hi, get in there. Hello, thank you. 6 1/4 inches. Well, I've said this before. People can say, oh, I don't make mistakes. We're perfect. Blah, blah. They're not. We all make mistakes. We all do. It's just an opportunity to overcome an obstacle and rethink your plans. Okay, so that looks like how I want it. Perfect. So now I will ink that down, and then I'll be able to glue that flap on, and it's fine. The rest of it will come together. It will be fine. Yeah, that's going to be really pretty. You're not even going to see that much of that. Well, you are. I don't have that lined up right. But that's going to be really pretty. And I think I am going to cut this piece for that because I think that's going to be really pretty on there. And so I will just continue to cut some base pieces. I don't want to bore you with all the thought process and the inking of that. And I think I'm just going to edge this maybe with some brown. I hope, because if I cut another strip of this, I'm going to be into that birdhouse. And I don't want to do that. Okay, I wasn't going to ink, but that's okay. So see, that offsets that blue, and that looks really nice. I like that a lot. Okay, I'll be back. So well over an hour has gone by. I have to go down and have lunch. But this is kind of where I am so far. And part of the delay is because I only have like one sheet each of these papers. So I'm trying to just be really careful with how I'm cutting them. Like, for example, I cut this one as just a dark background, but then I was like, I love this key and I can cut that and it will fit in there. And then that key is going to be like the background piece. So maybe I'll use this as like a journaling card, because I was going to do a dark and then maybe multiple pockets back here, but I just really like that key. It's not glued down. The only bits I have glued down are these two pieces. The rest are just kind of paper clipped in here because I want to do some heat embossing. Like on this piece, I messed up with the punch. I don't know what I did, but that's okay. That can be hidden. I can cut that off and put a pocket on the bottom of that panel, and then you're never going to know I made a mistake. So just things like that do happen, and I don't want you to be like completely discouraged if it does. And see, I could put that on there, but that's not enough design. That's the brown beside the brown. I don't want that. So all of these decisions to be made. I don't particularly care for the polka dots. I say that even though this panel is tiny polka dots. I can do the tiny ones. I have this piece, which is what I cut for the back panel because I just like that design. I thought that was a really pretty back panel. I haven't decided on a front panel yet. And oh, you know what? Did I? Sure I did. We'll use that as the front panel because then we'll just make a topper to go on there. And it's not a wasted piece that I cut. And I cannot clip that on there because of my, what you call it? My flippy flappy thingies. So let's just make a little note here that this is just going to be the front panel. Okay, so what I will do with this though is set it inside so that way I know I have that piece prepped. I still need a piece for the bottom flaps, inside flaps, make the little pocket, decide if I want pockets, where I want pockets, and I'm going to need reinforcement pieces. So what I don't know is if I will put my signatures in the 1-inch spines. You guys know I like to do that, or if I will just stick with that. But actually I have to put them in the 1-inch spines because of the way I designed the flaps. So we are going to do 2 signatures. So this is not going to matter. We'll do 2 signatures in the 1-inch spines. Okay. Okay. Decision made. All right, so I have to go eat lunch, and I will just continue to work on this when I come back. Like this piece is a little short here, but this flap is an odd size, and math, and I'm watching a show, so I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really paying attention when I cut it. But that's okay because a piece of pretty trim there will be absolutely fine. So I could put that there. That doesn't match. I could do the dark because that will offset that dark, and I think that's what I will use that scrap for. Okay. All right, so off for lunch. I just wanted to kind of give you an update for where I am with this. And like I was telling my friend, I said I have to be really careful with how I cut this because I only have so many pieces, obviously, because I only have one each of the design of the 12 by 12. And some of the patterns are just so big, it's really hard to manage and cut them and have them as like focal points. So, but I'm pulling something off the shelf and using it, so I'm super happy about that. But anyway, okay, off for lunch. Okay, it is much later in the day. I had my lunch, I elevated, iced, and I came back up and finished kind of choosing some papers. A couple of options for a front panel, some mistakes. Oh wait, that's important. I need that. I about threw my spine piece in my scrap bin piece. That's not a scrap. Anyway, so lots of things. Really enjoying this, but making these, I don't know what it is about these. I just love them. I totally love them. Okay, so the front, obviously, I have, well, not obviously, I don't have something paper clipped. That's obvious. Okay, so I have a dark front that I thought that would be like a good background for something. If we wanted to make a topper or something like that, it would give us options for a very dark, neutral background. Then I had this piece and I just love it so much. And so I cut it down and I thought, well, that would still be really cool if we like did something here. Can heat emboss this? I mean, that's going to be super pretty if we do that. I could do it either way, that way or that way. I'm not really sure. I kind of like it like that. But I can't paper clip it again because of my flaps on the inside panel. And I didn't ink it yet because I'm not certain that that's how I'm going to use it, but I just think that would be really pretty. And maybe just like a, I don't know. I'm leaning toward this piece because I really like it with the flowers. But anyway, so I have this marked as front panel, and I'll have it in my bin. Okay, I have the 2 spine pieces are gonna match. And then what I was thinking was I have those fabric buttons, and that somehow I can use the fabric buttons to create a closure on the side, maybe. I don't know. But they're not glued down because I want to make sure that I don't need any brads or anything in any of my panels, or anything like that, because if I glue, it takes away options, except for the front. Again, that's the only one I glued down because of the nature of the pocket. But I knew I wasn't going to put like anything in here, but I may through these 1-inch spines. I hope that makes sense. Like if you've been watching me for very long, you know that usually I'm like, oh, I forgot to do blah, blah for a closure. Okay, so I have this flower, which again, I want to heat emboss. I really want to bring the flourish out. When I emboss this, it's going to really bring these colors out. I'll see what colors I have. Like, I think the Uncharted Mariner glaze would probably be really pretty as an accent on this piece with maybe some clear also. Maybe the Uncharted Mariner on the darker bits. And then I think I'll take my gold jelly roll and just kind of highlight some of that scrolly part up there. That's kind of, I'm thinking on the fly right now, so I probably should just make myself a note. So clear and Uncharted Mariner and gold jelly roll on flourish. Half the time when I scribble notes when I'm brainstorming, I can't even read my writing when I go back to them. And I don't write like that. I actually have pretty nice handwriting when I'm writing something that matters. Okay, so here I have just a piece of brown on this pocket, and I thought, well, that might be kind of cute there as a little, I probably will cut that down because I think that's about a 3/4 of an inch, maybe 7/8 of an inch. So I think I'll probably cut that down to like maybe a 1/2 of an inch and put, you know, the policy closure on it. So that way we can close these flaps. And then again, I already said I need trim here. But I'm not putting anything on here because like I need to put an eyelet through there maybe, or however I'm going to do the closure on that piece, but I'm not doing that right now. Okay, and then we have this flap. I cut this pocket, destinations always, and this says swell, but this is actually factory edge of the paper, and I thought swell was really funny because it's just a term I use sometimes when I'm being very sarcastic. Okay, and then I had a bird piece cut for here, but it really was just too, you didn't really see the birds very well. So like, yeah. And I just thought, I don't know. So I found another piece that's just kind of like newsprint for that background. And I think that's a better fit because I see my birds in this spine. And this spine you're going to see where this spine things are going to be stitched into. And then, so that's that. Bring it over here. And then this pocket flips down. And I love this compass so much. I just think it's gorgeous. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how I can bring this to life. I just like when I emboss things, how it brings the pages to life, and this definitely needs something. But this page, I just love it so much. And I might even take some script stamp and just script stamp and emboss down here where it's got like this green script at the bottom, just to kind of add a little bit to that page. Then we have these pages. And I'd already said I want to heat emboss this flourish in the background. So probably I'll heat emboss the blue and just take the gold jelly roll to the brown just for continuity throughout the project. Here's a little bit of some flourish here left. And I also have my stamp that I had gotten for my birthday that I can use to add some more flourish to some of these pages. I think that'll be really, really pretty. I could not stand the fact that this edge was messed up, and I went to add a little pocket to it and I didn't like it. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to cut a new piece, and that piece I can cut as like a tag or something like that, because I thought, you know, we got the little birds, or we can do words on there, or belly band, like joy and cherish. Oh, as a belly band, cherish works. Yes, it does. Okay, maybe I'll cut that. But I also have these like pull apart pieces that were part of this kit that might be, you know, something that we want to use. I don't know, I'm not that far yet. But I am going to paper clip this here as an option, now that I saw that. I have the keyhole here. I love this, and I really want to do something with that. I don't think I have just metal colored embossing powder, but if I do, I'm totally going to do that. And then again, my back panel here. So that's where I am right now. I'm going to end this video here, so I hope you're enjoying the process. And I should have counted. I guess I can go back in the first video and kind of count how many actual pages I started with, because I think it's kind of interesting to know that taking those bits and pieces, and, you know, I've got my little bin of this, excuse me, smaller scraps here. I have my bigger scraps in here that I'll be taking apart and using for like journaling cards and tags and those sorts of things. I looked at my bigger pieces, and I'm going to cut the top of this one for a signature cover, because I believe it's wide enough, if I'm doing my math right. But I'm only gonna do this when I'm ready. But I think this would be pretty as a signature cover with that ledger inside, or vice versa. I mean, either way, it would be really pretty. And then this one, this edge, I really like this edge with this flourish. And so I think that one will also be a really pretty signature cover as well. And because they're going to be like on opposite sides, I think it'll be fine as far as not using the same paper, because I don't have enough paper to use the same on the front and back signature. So it's just using, you know, using the parts and the pieces and trying to just use up the paper. So again, I'm very thankful to Rhonda for suggesting the challenge. And yeah, I'm just going to keep rolling with it. I'm having a good time with it. So I'll end this video here. All right, sorry about that tickle in my throat. I'll end this video here and kind of do some more thinking and digging for papers and pieces to put in my signatures, and go from there. So by the time this airs, I will be probably a lot further along with it. So I do want to know what you think. I want your opinions. Of course I want your opinions. I love hearing from you. You guys know that I love hearing from you. But this is a project that I'm just going to continue to work on and film as I go. So it won't be a matter of, hey, what's your opinion on this piece? Should I use it or not? Unless it's truly a piece that I say, I'm going to hold this until this airs and I get an answer. So I'll just keep moving along on it. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. Please make sure you're interacting with the videos. That really helps my channel. Like, subscribe, comment, all those good fun things. And again, kind comments only, please. If it's something that you're like, I don't like it or whatever, just, you know, feel free to keep that to yourself. Content creators do this out of their, well, for me, I'm not monetized. I don't get paid to do this. I just love to share, and I want to share. And I appreciate that for the most part, the comments on my channel are very, very nice and very, very kind and uplifting. And some of you are always so supportive and continue to be super supportive. And I appreciate that. There are no words. But I just know there are, we'll just say that there are some people who don't realize that you don't have to say ugly things. You can just not say anything at all. So have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye.